Hello, good morning. Do let those reading and listening know who you are, what you do, and a snapshot about your background.
Hello, I am Didi Akinyelure. I'm a journalist and the 2016 winner of the BBC World News Komla Dumor Award. I've worked as a journalist for over 5 years now, I think. I'm working at the moment for the BBC based in Lagos. But before that, I was working for CNBC Africa for about 4 years. So specifically business and financial journalism. And before that, I used to be a banker, but that was a different life.
Interesting. So what made you switch careers?
Career switch, it was 2008, 2009, during the credit crunch. You know, we all know what happened here in Nigeria. I used to work for an investment bank, so the investment banking arm of a retail bank here in Lagos, and the company wrapped up. You know, so we were very much involved in margin loans and giving out margin loans to customers, and they'd use their loans to buy stocks, and we all know what happened with the market. And so things changed, and then from there, once we kind of closed up, I decided, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to do something different with my life. And I never took a step towards journalism. It didn't even cross my mind at all. But then what I was passionate about was real estate investment, just as a person, something I liked doing from when I was young. And I thought, okay, maybe I should do a little program on the real estate sector. And then I started to pitch that to channels, different TV stations. And then it was from there that I got an offer from CNBC.
Okay, good. But you some minutes ago you mentioned you were the 2016 Komla Dumor Award winner. How was the experience, and how has the experience impacted your career?
Oh, it was a fantastic 3 months that I spent. I spent it going from team to team, working with different teams across the BBC, from the BBC News at 10 team to the Africa team, the business team, the online team, digital, and also there was very good training at the start as well. Now, for someone who had never really trained as a journalist, because I came from banking, it was really key for me. So I really enjoyed the experience. I had worked in the UK for a couple of years, so that wasn't sort of new, being in the UK or anything, but then being a journalist in the UK was completely interesting. And also just the way I told stories and the way I tell stories now has changed. I think I'm a little more balanced in my journalism. Maybe because I was coming from a business background, and business news is very different from traditional news, and it's probably a lot more I guess the word to say is maybe more commercial or more positive. But then I've started to see, I see the story better, I understand the stories better, and it's just made me a better journalist, and it's opened so many doors. I've done so many interesting things, even in the year. I mean, it's been a year since I won the award, and I've done so many things. I've traveled all over the world. I've moderated events in different parts of the world. I've worked for different parts of the BBC. Just a few months ago, I was in China doing a report for BBC. So things that I would never have had the experience of doing, I've been able to do, and it's opened a lot of doors as well.
2 final questions. What role do you see the media playing on the African continent? And how necessary is it for Africa to tell our own stories?
Oh, I mean, I'll start with the second half. Telling it's so important that we tell our own stories. We always talk about changing the narrative. We talk about how the international media perceives or portrays the continent. First and foremost, when you even think of Africa as a whole, people we're kind of very much generalized as one, and yet we're so different. You know, West Africa is completely different from East, and you know, and the North and the South, and a lot of us that even live in West Africa, some of us haven't even been around to other parts of Africa. We don't even understand their culture and their traditions, you know, and yet we're all generalized and put in one little bracket. You know, so first of all, we're very different, and so we have to sort of tell the world that we're very different, and we have different things. You know, we bring different things to the game, and also, you know, no one can tell your story better than you. No one can understand, you know, your country better than you, or you know, or the issues that are in your country. Yeah, so you know, that is the main thing. It's one thing to have international media. You know, yes, you know, for example, the BBC. You know, we tend to cover Africa very well. You know, that's one thing. You know, we're very good in our coverage of Africa. But then, you know, so it's about perception, and if you as an African attend an African story, you can find stories that people have not told to the world yet a lot easier than, say, you know, a foreigner would do. And your first question was what again? Sorry. The first half of the question.
Your perception about Africa and Nigeria, how we could develop our media.
The media industry. I mean, the media industry here, I mean, I think we've done a good job. We do have, even, you know, the local channels, we do have some good coverage that is going on, and we've come a long way. And now, obviously, you know, we're transitioning into a more digital space, and you're seeing what everybody's doing on social media and Twitter, and it's impressive. And we are telling our stories, and, you know, the world is listening to us. But, you know, at the same time, we have a long way to go. Better training. We need better training for our journalists, you know, so that they understand what it means to tell a free and fair story and a balanced story, and you know, they know how to survive and do, you know, journalism that isn't biased in any way. But then, you know, we have literally, I always say this: media, we are powerful. We are the voice. You know what I mean? We are the voice. Like we can change the perception of the entire population just by telling one story. Or I mean, look at what's happening in Libya. That just came from one report that was done, you know, from CNN, and everyone is talking about it. So you know, we are powerful beings, and you know, we need to understand that we're powerful in the media in Africa and play our part in telling the story.
One final question: what's the title of the book you are currently reading?
Oh wow! Let me think. At the moment, I read a book because I was doing the moral case of fossil fuels.
Okay.
Yeah. So what it is I was working on. I had a panel discussion that I was hosting, and it was looking at, you know, the issue of, you know, just the oil industry in general. And so The Moral Case of Fossil Fuels is a book that's written by an American guy, and he is saying that everything that we know about fossil fuels is wrong, you know, and that, you know, the media in a way has portrayed it to look as if we're all going to die from climate change and things are going to go wrong, and he's saying it's not as bad as it appears. And it's actually a very interesting argument that he has. It actually made me start to think, wait, is everything I know about fossil fuels, is it really wrong? You know, and you know, he's talking about, you know, solar energy, and he's talking about renewable energy, and saying everybody says solar and renewable energy are the future. But if you look at like Africa, for example, are we ready to move to that? And look at what, you know, fossil fuels have done in development of, you know, developing nations. You know, you can't just wipe it out and say that, that they're bad, that coal is bad. So there's a very, very interesting argument. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment, reading at the moment.
Thank you very much for your time, madam.
Thank you.